Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 7. And today's video is going to be a theory video in regards to how Barry becomes the original timeline Flash for The Flash Season 7. So, as of now, we are obviously 4 episodes into The Flash Season 7. By the time this video is up, we will be having episode 5 that night. But with episode 4, we are finally introduced into the original season 7 storyline. And quite a bit has happened, and one of the key storylines we will be exploring from episodes 5 to 11 are obviously the forces, in which we will be seeing the Sage Force in the coming episode. We have seen the Strength Force during episode 4. We have seen the Still Force with the Turtle, but I think we're going to get another character who will be using the Still Force, and obviously the Speed Force. And we will be going in depth with these different forces when more episodes come around, and we will find out that the Speed Force isn't the only cosmic energy out there in the multiverse, but there are 4 other forces. And as more episodes come around, more of these forces will be revealed. And although that storyline will be taking place as like the main story of the season, we did get a couple of different teases and some very interesting stuff about our Scarlet Speedster. With that being said, as I said during the intro, I will be theorizing about how Barry could potentially become the original timeline Flash. And I'm talking about the present day Barry, like the Barry we are seeing on the show. Now, as I said from my previous theory videos, and I will continuously be giving this warning from now on whenever I do a theory video, this is just a theory video. So please don't take what I'm saying as a way to get excited, even if the theory could make sense, because if there's a chance that I'm wrong, in which it's highly likely that I am, I do not want to be the reason for you guys getting disappointed, because the outcome did not turn out the way I may have theorized about. So please don't use this theory to get excited, because if the outcome is different, you will get disappointed, and I do not want that to happen to you guys. I want you guys to enjoy the show as much as you can, no matter what happens. And this doesn't just apply for this one video, it will apply for all of my theory videos which I'll be doing, because since the backlash of WandaVision started due to these theories hyping people up way too much and resulting them into taking that one theory and getting excited over it, and the outcome ends up being different, and then they end up getting disappointed based on that theory not being true. I don't want that happening for you guys, so I will keep giving these theory warnings from now on. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so we have seen the original timeline Flash in multiple episodes of The Flash, all of which took place during the night where Nora Allen was murdered. Now, the original timeline is quite different to that of our Barry's timeline, which we have seen on the show, in which the original timeline Flash was actually the very first Flash who faced off the Reverse Flash during the night Nora Allen was murdered, and this Flash was created in the year of 2020 from an accidental particle accelerator explosion by Harrison Wells and Tess Morgan, whereas our Barry got struck by lightning in the year of 2013 on purpose by Welzabard, and our Barry became the Flash in 2014. So yeah, there's a slight timeline difference over there, and also we do not know whether the original timeline Flash did have his own Team Flash and stuff like that, but obviously we do know that our Barry has Team Flash with him. So pretty much on the show we have the original timeline where basically a totally different event occurs compared to our timeline, which we have seen throughout the show. And so far we have only had these slight Easter eggs to the original timeline Flash, such as the original Harrison Wells helping our Barry get his speed back in the year of 2020, which is an Easter egg to the original timeline Flash becoming the Flash in the year of 2020, from the doings of the original Harrison Wells with the accidental particle accelerator explosion. Now, my theory is that the original timeline is erased. It's no longer an existing timeline, and it has been altered when Thawne killed Nora Allen and took over the body of the original Harrison Wells. And that pretty much made the new timeline set in place, which we have seen on the show. So that is now a new fixed timeline set in place, which is going to happen no matter what. So this basically made Nora Allen's death inevitable, because eventually our Barry will end up becoming future Barry, and he will be the one who will be facing off the Reverse Flash during the night Nora Allen was murdered. Not the original timeline Flash, it will be our Barry who faces off the Reverse Flash at that night. And it will be our Barry who will be telling his past self not to interfere with the timeline. So the original timeline Flash will no longer be there, and that is because it's an erased timeline. It should no longer exist. You could also use Crisis on Infinite Earths as a reason to basically erase the original timeline as well and making it non-existent, because once the new multiverse reformed, it pretty much sets a whole new timeline with these different series of events, with all of the shows, such as Supergirl's events taking place as well. You could pretty much say that the pre-crisis timeline has been rewritten, in which Barry will end up getting struck by lightning in 2013 no matter what. He will not be struck by lightning in the year of 2019 and become the Flash in the year of 2020. He will be struck by lightning in the year of 2013 and he will become the Flash in the year of 2014. Therefore, in this post-crisis timeline, the events of the original timeline do not occur. Now, from Abracadabra's recent appearance, we found out that Barry Allen is eventually going to be so obsessed with the future. Meaning we should slowly be getting the storyline during The Flash Season 7 of Barry studying the future, if you will. This could potentially be so that Barry knows what is set in place and that he makes sure that the timeline is intact, and therefore if anything bad is set into motion, he could easily try and act upon that in the past and try to make that certain future better. But of course, the murder of Nora Allen is still going to be inevitable. As soon as Thawne killed Nora Allen, that's now set in place. That will happen no matter what happens. So although Barry investigating the future could be established during The Flash Season 7, we could have this being dragged throughout the season, so season 8, season 9, and potentially season 10 as well. And if we are to assume that the ending scene of the very final episode during the series finale, whenever that comes around, will be Barry becoming the lightning that strikes him, as much as I hate that ending. If this happens, it will be our Barry who will eventually become the future Flash, in which he will be the one trying to stop the Reverse Flash from killing his mother, and he will fail. Reverse Flash will kill Nora Allen, because as I said, that is inevitable. It is going to happen, and the whole thing with Welzabard takes place. And then this could lead to our Barry now having knowledge of the future due to his interest of it and him investigating it. He would find a way to make sure that the legacy of the Flash continues even when Nora Allen dies. Because remember guys, Thawne's plan was that if Barry suffered a tragedy so horrific, he would never become the Flash. So if Nora Allen is murdered, technically speaking, Barry shouldn't become the Flash. So this could result into Barry knowing this, and he would travel back in time, and this would lead to him becoming the lightning that strikes him in the year of 2013, during the night the particle accelerator explodes. This would be a never-ending loop. It will continue happening with past Barry ending up becoming future Barry, and then that future Barry becomes the lightning that strikes past Barry, and so on, so on. It will continue looping. Meaning in post-crisis, or after the murder of Nora Allen, whenever you want to put it, this original timeline is erased. It no longer becomes a thing. Meaning the Barry Allen we have right now technically becomes the original timeline Flash, because post-crisis there would be that new rewritten timeline being the original timeline, therefore making our Barry Allen the original Barry Allen. He does end up getting his speed back in the year of 2020 after the death of the Speed Force with the help of the original Harrison Wells. And as I said, although it isn't a direct copy of the events of the original timeline, because in the original timeline it was Tess Morgan and Harrison Wells who launched the particle accelerator and created the Flash in 2020, in this timeline, or the post-crisis timeline, it will be the original Harrison Wells with the help of Team Flash reviving the Speed Force and creating these different metas with the forces instead. Not to forget, the Flash Season 7 Episode 9, titled Timeless, is going to be the episode where the original timeline Wells returns as Timeless, and we do know that from Episode 3, this version of Wells was called Timeless Wells, and this version of Wells now exists in this timeline which we are in. And if the original timeline Harrison Wells is living in our timeline and will be returning during Episode 9 and possibly end up joining Team Flash permanently, doesn't that technically mean that Barry would also become the original timeline Flash, and this new post-crisis timeline is technically the new original timeline which is set into motion? But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys think about this theory, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.